Jesus, it's your fault that that happened. For after all, if you had just been there, they wouldn't have died. And what did Jesus say? If I had been there, you wouldn't have believed. But now I will go, and your brother shall rise again. Your sister shall rise again. Your family member shall rise again. Your child shall rise again. There was an interesting thing here that I grabbed a hold of. And it says here in verse 28, it said, the teacher has come and is calling for you. Jesus is calling for you today. He is calling for each and every one of you today. And Mary got up. And as soon as she heard that, she rose quickly. And she went. It said that she came to him. He didn't go seeking after Mary. Mary, come out of your tent. Come on. No, it said that when she knew he was coming, he was calling for her name. So she got up and she went. She knew who he was. Thought you were my friend, and you let them die. The interesting thing about this is I too have had someone say that to me, and my response was that I will not give up the ministry that God has placed me in just so I can satisfy your needs. You know that God has placed me in a position where into a ministry, a place of ministry. And if I give up that ministry right now, that the things in my life that God has set free will die. And I'm not willing for that to happen. I will continue on into the ministry as God would have me to do. I will not leave the place where He has called me. Verse 33. I want to back up here for just a minute. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live again. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Verse 33 says, therefore, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. And he said, where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. Jesus cries out for the people in the tombs. He's crying today for you. Then the Jews said, see how he loved him? And some of them said, could not this man who opened the eyes of the blind also have kept this man from dying? And Jesus, again, groaning in himself, came to the tomb. It was a cave, a stone lay against it. Jesus said, take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him who was dead, said to him, Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead 4 days. It's amazing to me. We sit and watch our fellow Christians die right before us, and we sit back and we say, there's nothing I can do. Nothing that I can do. I go, I call, I say, I this, I that, and they just won't listen to me. They won't listen. They won't do it. I guess they're just going to go right back into the life that they were in before. They've been dead all this time. Probably speaking right now. As a matter of fact, the flesh is probably beginning to just come off the bodies by now. The devil is a liar. I said the devil is a liar.
Amen.
Jesus said to her, did I not say, I can see him saying this too, did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead man was lying, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me, and I know that you always hear me. But because of the people who are standing by, I say this, that they may believe that you sent me. Now when he had said these things, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he who had died came out. I said he who had died came out, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, loose him and let him go. Loose him and let him go. I want you to understand, it said Lazarus, Jesus said, Lazarus, come forth. Verse 44 said this, and he who had died came out. Jesus is calling to you today, but you have got to make the first step to come out of that grave. You have got to make that first step to get out of those grave clothes. You may come out stinking. You may come out with a little harm. But Jesus is here to set you free today. He came in here to set you free today. And it's time to get some people out of the grave today. But you have got to make a step forward. You have got to do it. I was studying and praying over this, and I remember a message that the pastor had preached on. It was in Mark 14. Let's just go there for a minute. It was in Mark 14, and it reminded me of something that struck inside of me. So I started searching out and digging this out. And Mark 14:51, it says, now a certain young man followed him. Now this was during a time when they had went in and taken Jesus to crucify him. And the studies show that the Garden of Gethsemane was close to or by a cemetery.